Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for Buildmas Day 2. So in today's video I'm going to be doing a Christmassy interior. I think I did one of these last year. If I did, I'll leave it down below. I can't actually remember now. But I wanted to redecorate my own player house for Christmas. I always change up my house for the seasons, so I wanted to do a Christmassy one. So I decided to do a entrance hallway, a dining room, a kitchen and a living room, to obviously give everything the festive feels. So let's get started. So as you can see, the first room we're going for is our entrance hallway. I really wanted to give a hallway a shot. I'd done it in a previous house before, like a random premium shop one, and I'd never done it in my own house for some reason. So I decided to do it for this build, see how it went and if I ended up liking it. I'm usually more of a fan of going into like a big open room, but I felt like this would be quite fun, especially for Christmas time, to kind of give it a try and make it feel very much like a family home. That was the vibe I was going for in here. So as you can see, I started off with some kind of nice green wallpaper, and then I start adding in some furniture. I keep it pretty simple in here because obviously it's such a small space. If you add too much, it really does feel crowded and obviously my character wouldn't even be able to get through. So I decided to add in a few different furniture items, obviously lots of Christmassy things, but as well as that, a lot of things that would make sense to be in an entranceway. Like I end up adding an umbrella stand and a mirror and lots of paintings. I wanted the paintings to basically represent like family pictures, but we don't have anything like that in game, sadly. So I went for paintings instead to give that same vibe and go ahead and basically just make it as festive as I can in such a small space. Now the next room we are working on is the living space. Now in here, I think I went by for a 10 by 10 room. I think this room and the kitchen are both 10 by 10. So I didn't want it to be too big and be the max size. I made it a little bit smaller, but still went for a square shape, just because of the layout I wanted to do in here. I knew a square shape would work well, and I decided to basically just make this nice cozy area. I added in some of the kind of more rustic wallpaper to fit the vibe I was going for, obviously added in a fireplace and everything like that, and started filling the room up for Christmas. So as you can see in here, I did play around with the furniture quite a few times. I couldn't actually decide what kind of like seating I wanted to go for, but I ended up going for these craftable ones from Storybook Vale. I just feel like they look very, very natural and kind of fit the traditional theme I was going for. I've obviously got some very Christmassy windows, and I also used the pillar from the Belle and Beast bundle with the roses around it. I just felt like it fits so well with the Christmassy theme. And then obviously it started adding in a bunch of gifts as well as a tree in the corner as well. Now the next room we're moving on to, which is a much smaller, longer room, is the dining room. I felt like it didn't need to be a square box in here, so I decided to go for this shape instead to make it just seem a little bit longer and narrower. I was actually going to do it the other way, but I felt like when you walk down the hallway and then straight into this room at the end, when it was the other way, it just looked really strange and just didn't fit right. So I decided to go for this horizontal shape instead, and I started to obviously make it a darker wallpaper and darker flooring theme in here to contrast with the bright tables. Added in some of our snowy windows again, as well as some of our Christmas tables, and then I go ahead and add some of the craftable Christmassy seats. I do hope these Christmas tables do come back this year, because I feel like we need a festive table, or maybe the new Star Path will have one, we never know. But I wanted to obviously add those in. But these chairs are craftable, the Christmassy ones, and I add a little like dinner set onto these tables as well, which is also craftable. So if you're someone who obviously doesn't have a lot of the Christmassy stuff from the previous Star Path, those are really, really good options, and then you just need to pair them with a table that you feel fits the theme. And once I'd added in a bunch of pictures as well as a chandelier in the ceiling, I added in some of these red rugs along to just fit the vibe. You could definitely use Touch of Magic rugs for these if you don't have these ones. And then I also added in some pillars into the corners of the room. I didn't go for the same ones in the living room because I wanted to change it up slightly. So I decided to go for those, and then I add in some candelabras to add an extra bit of lighting to kind of wrap it up before I add a couple presents as well as some food onto the table. So the final room, as you can see, this is going to be the kitchen space. Now in here, obviously I knew it'd be a bit more of a challenge, as it always is, because we don't necessarily have any Christmassy kitchen stuff or anything really that kind of fits. So I decided to kind of see what I had and figure out what kind of theme I wanted to go for. There's definitely different options you could do in here for a Christmassy theme, because it is a little bit harder to find items for, but I decided to go for the frozen cabinets and stove that we got in a bundle in the premium shop. You could also use, as a good option, would be the Tiana set that was in her Star Path, the beautiful like green ornate ones, or just use some of the modern ones from Scrooge, because they also will work, especially the white ones, and then just jazz it up with some red and green accessories. And as you can see, it took me a while to place out the furniture I wanted to use. As I said, this room was a little bit more challenging than the previous ones, so I kind of took my time with looking for furniture items, and then I added this quaint little like breakfast table in the corner. So I wanted to kind of add that, because obviously the dining room's quite fancy and quite posh, ready for Christmas Day. So I felt like the breakfast table was perfect for Christmas morning, and then I started working on the shape of the kitchen and figuring out how I wanted to use the counters. I knew I wanted to do like kind of like a bar area, if that makes sense, like a kitchen island bar area, or a breakfast bar, I guess you'd call it, to obviously have people sit there as well. So I kind of was figuring out the shape of it, figuring out how I wanted to order everything, as well as add in all the different kitchen appliances that I wanted to include to make it feel like a realistic kitchen. As you can see, I filled up some of the kitchen with food as well as different items. Food is always a really good way to accessorize a room. I find that if you're struggling with actual furniture items that fit the theme you're going for, food is always the way to do it, especially in a kitchen or dining space. I always include food. So if you have a bunch of festive recipes and you're not sure how to make things feel festive in your build because you're struggling with Christmassy items, food is always the way to go. You've got some really gorgeous ones like the gingerbread house and the Yule logs and stuff like that that will just completely make any build feel Christmassy, even when you're struggling with items. To finish up this room, I added in a bunch of gifts, obviously some garlands on the walls, and then right at the end I actually do change the flooring. I just felt like the white flooring in here wasn't really working, so I end up going for some dark wood similar to the other rooms just to keep it cohesive, and I just felt like it felt more festive. And here is the final build. As you can see when we come in, we've got the hallway. I love this little space. I feel like it worked out how I wanted it to. I've kept it quite simple just so my character doesn't get stuck on it and things like that, but I added lots to the walls to kind of make up for the lack of actual furniture on the floor, which I just feel like keeps it busy. And I love these picture frames to make it feel, you know, really full and really kind of familiar in here. Now the first room we're going in is obviously our living space. In here I wanted to keep it really warm, really bright, with lots of reds and greens. We've obviously got our seating area in front of the fireplace and the tree with the presents. Obviously this is the craftable tree, so this is accessible to everyone. So if you haven't got that, that is easily accessible. And some of these gifts are also in Scrooge's, so these are also easy to get from him. But I wanted to obviously include as many festive things in here as I can to create this really cozy family room. Now heading out of here, we are obviously going to head into our dining room at the end. Now in here I really wanted to feel like a place where the family would sit for Christmas. It's more of a kind of fancy room. You wouldn't come in here all the time. It is kind of like how I had it at my grandparents' home growing up. You'd have your dining room where it was like the table would all be laid out for Christmas, with the crackers on the table and all of that, and you wouldn't touch it all day until it was dinner time. That's kind of the vibe I wanted to go for. I wanted to take some inspiration from that, so I felt like I kind of achieved that. And again, the paintings that make it feel quite warm and cozy in here. I do wish we just had some picture frames though. I think that would be such a cute addition to the game, even if they were like Touch of Magic. I'd love that. Now the final room is obviously the kitchen space, which I found the most challenging, but I do love how it turned out. I think it does feel like a realistic family kitchen. I do wish the appliances in the kitchen could be more cohesive. I would love to have some more kind of matching kitchen sets, because I feel like kitchens are the thing I struggle with most. I don't know if anyone else does. Kitchens and bathrooms, I feel like they think maybe we don't want those items, but I do. I want to create some really cute kitchens and bathrooms, but I did my best. And as you can see, I took some shots of the final rooms so you guys can kind of see them in the cozy vibes they're at. I'm really happy with how it looks. Obviously this is my main player house, so it will be staying like this until the new year, when we'll obviously change it up again, but I am enjoying doing interiors, and I always love changing up my one for Christmas. So I hope you guys did enjoy and it gave you a bit of inspiration if you were looking to decorate for Christmas, or if you just wanted to see something a little bit festive. But make sure you like and subscribe if you did enjoy and you want to see the rest of Buildmas, and I will see you tomorrow for the next one. Bye.